Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club holds, in my opinion, completely unbiased, the best field day in Northern California. You all agree? There we go, yeah. Heck yeah, right? All right, so behind the scenes, the field day crew has been planning everything out from where the antennas are going to be, what equipment we'll have, what food we're going to have there. That's really important. I know you're all waiting for that. As well as everything you need to know about ham radio's biggest event of the year. Jeff, KM6RGO, is our field day chair, and he's prepared a wonderful presentation for us explaining everything that's going to be going on later this month. With that, please welcome Jeff, Kilo Mike 6, Romeo Golf Oscar, to the floor.
You know, everybody here probably knows what field day is, but we have a lot of new folks in the club, so we'll present this as though you've never been. So as we know, field day is an operating event. It's not a contest. It's really designed by the ARRL way back in the 1930s to just test the preparedness of our ham radio operators and emergency communication abilities of the radio community. So field day has evolved, though, into the largest on-the-air operation during the year. In 2024, last year, the entries were submitted 4,500 clubs roughly, and in U.S. and Canada. And then the logs showed 27 countries participated in field day in some form or another outside of the U.S. So this becomes a worldwide event. You know, we're able to make contacts everywhere. We're up, a little bit from the previous years. 1.3 million contacts were made last year, up from 1.25 in 2023. So it's a big event. A lot of radio activity going on in the world. These are the main components of it: emergency preparedness, contest activity, and rules. We'll call it a contest. It's an operating event, but there are some rules that they give us to make it fun. And then, in general, the promotion of amateur radio. And some of the resources that are required, what equipment we have, what food, water, fuel, etc., logistics, essentially. Planning, site planning, where are we going, the various responsibilities, safety, food, water, etc., and avoidance of poison oak. And how to get there, bringing in the supplies, the logistics, right, set up and operate while on location. It's a 24-hour event. Setup is, planning takes quite a bit of time, and the setup goes pretty quick. It gets done in less than a day. So this is our largest, Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club's largest public-facing event. It is open to the public. Anybody is welcome to join us. We have a get-on-the-air component, so if you are not a ham or if you are a new ham, meaning if you have had your license within a year of field day, you can be part of that station to get on the air. And we'll have Elmers there to help you kind of learn the rhythm and flow of what contesting is like. And it's certainly a great place to introduce somebody to ham radio. So I know there's somebody that's just visiting us on Zoom right now, and this is a great place to come and check it out. We'll have a VE session there, so if you plan on taking your exam or if you want an upgrade, that's going to be across the runway in the hangar. We'll do that. And then you can walk right across and either exercise your new privileges or get on the air for the first time, which would be great. We invite elected officials to come, and we have somebody that's coming for that, and served agencies as well, fire crews, law enforcement, and it's open to the general public. So if you know people that you want to invite, by all means, they're welcome. So we operate on a point system. That's the encouragement to go ahead and set this up to begin with, making all the points, and you can see the different scoring that's there. So you'll have, we will have one digital station, one which is 2 points of contact, one formal CW station only, that's 2 points for contact, and a flexible CW sideband. Now, if CW is the priority, because the sideband's only 1 point, CW is 2. So as long as CW operators are operating, we'll just leave them alone and let them score the points. However, If it gets to be a little dry, we'll get somebody on the mic and start making some sideband contacts or just phone contacts. And then one phone station along with a GOTA station, which is down the ways a little bit. GOTA is 5 points for contact, and that is to encourage new people to get on the air and get over the mic fright. And of course, VHF, 1 point per contact. Those are free stations, so they don't count towards our category. And then we'll use the logging with N3FJP, the software that we've used for quite a long time. No reason to change that. Although Jim and Dennis, WANPA and WU6X have recently gone through and kind of upgraded things. And Jim, W6JC said, yes.
Yeah, I just have one announcement. This year, I know a lot of you have your own computers with software that you're familiar with and comfortable with. We strongly encourage, and we definitely like it, if you can bring your own computers and use the software you're familiar with, and make sure that you do not connect any external devices to the logging computers. Treat them the same as you would a paper logbook. And if you want to operate the radios with your own software, feel free to bring your computer and connect that up to the radios we have.
Okay, that's a new one for this year, but let's just say there's going to be a logging computer there next to each station. And we don't want regular devices, however, hooked up to the network. That's going to be a private network, so we don't overload it or do anything funny with that. But they spent quite a bit of time refurbing these computers. We got a donation from Placer County ARRL for a couple of new computers. We're able to phase out the older ones, and we should have little trouble with that stuff. So these are the point structures that are for the contest and activity rules, just the extra bonus points that come up if we operate something on emergency power, which we are. We have a large generator that we're using. That's considered emergency power. We have a safety officer. We get points for that. Media and publicity. All of these categories here. The site visit by the elected officials, so forth, served agencies, social media. These are just additional bonus points as we go down. Something that we need to work on a little bit better. This is always a challenge every year is the W1AW bulletin. That's sent both on CW and it's done by phone. Sometimes it's difficult to receive, so we always seem to struggle with that. We're going to try and catch that on Friday night if we can. That's part of the rules that will allow us. There's the location, and from Auburn, this is the tortuous path you have to take. It's a little out of town. It's not in Auburn itself. We are actually in El Dorado County at the Georgetown Airport, but our host, the Georgetown Airport, really hosted up by Scott, KK7AIR, who's a great benefactor for this, making this facility nice for us to use. So it's quite nice. It's a campground that sits right alongside the airport. And as you can see, this is the typical layout of the airport in general. If you'll notice, the entrance is there on the far left, and you would kind of veer to your left as you're driving in, and you'll see the field day site there at the top right area. Now, the runway is an active runway, so we prefer people go around. On occasion, it gets very quiet. If you do have to go across, you need to look both ways several times. Really look out there before you even bother doing it. We'd prefer that you go around. Now, if you have RV parking, if you look at it all the way down to the bottom right, it says turnaround area, Class A parking. There's other areas to park the RVs. If you can see it right inside the paddock and on just a little above the Class A parking at the bottom. So you can park your RVs there. If you want to run your generators and air conditioning and all that stuff, that's the place to do it. There will be no generators in the campground save the one that operates field day. We want to leave some room for the fire department to turn around, so no parking in that spot. And you can see where that is. If you have any questions, you can just ask. We did make some modifications from last year, some very slight modifications for antennas. Derek, W6DER, is bringing his FTDX10. He normally brings a spider beam, but he had a great opportunity to go leave the area. So he's flying to visit his wife in Belgium that night. So he'll be setting up his equipment and then leaving. And his antenna is kludgy. He says he was uncomfortable with that. It was a goofy setup that he has. So we opted to move some of the antennas around. So instead of having two beams on the bottom right portion of the screen, we'll now have one Yagi beam down there, and then we'll use the other one over on the left where Derek spider beam normally is for CW. You'll see Brian's 40-meter wire beam kind of pointed that direction, and if you'll look to the far right and up a little bit, we're building another 40-meter wire beam that can be strung up either between the antenna or on some poles in between, pointed the direction we want it to point. So a wire 40-meter beam. And then, of course, we have the hex beam and an off-center fed connected up, peaked out at the hex beam along the trees in an inverted V. That gives us our 40 and 80 capabilities. Most everything is 10, 15, and 20. And then, of course, VHF stations and the food area. No one wants to forget about the barbecue area. That has all stayed the same. There is an area up we're going to take a look at it when we get up there. It says where it's dry camping area. All along that area. You can camp anywhere in that area for sure, but up in the far right corner, we noticed a little more poison oak low to the ground than last year. So we would caution people that are going to go in that area to be careful. It's really low to the ground. So they did send in some more workers. They may have chopped all of that up, but we're not sure yet until we get back up there. Yeah, we're going to mark the area where we saw it with some safety tape. It would be one of those areas that you would want to wear your boots. No flip-flops. Don't walk your dog in there. None of that. So, yeah, there's plenty of poison oak. Most of the rest of the camp, though, I think it's cleaner than it's ever been. It's actually very nice right now. So, good condition. And then Scott sent out some people and did a little more work yet. So, we remains to be seen what's been done. Again, caution, active runway. If you have to go across, look more than you plan to, and look way out far. It's not like you're just looking down the street. You got to look up in the sky and somebody in a pattern. Here's a schedule. Hasn't really changed much. Friday is set up. Saturday at 11 a.m. operating event until Sunday 11 a.m. and then tear down. And the breakfast schedules. Lunch on Friday. We'll have hot dogs, and we'll try and get that W1AW taken care of, that message at that point. So we do want to schedule. We're going to try and get the schedule's time slots in 30 minutes. The ideal scenario really is to slide into the logging station and then over to operating. It might not work out that way, but let's do the best as your time comes up to get you into the logging side and then just move over so you can get the rhythm going, and it's just a nice, easy thing. Let me go back. So radio operation and logger. So get to the log station and then move over to operating. It's a great place to be anyway. Logging kind of helps you get your rhythm and flow, and it's extremely helpful to keep operating quickly. Try and schedule for non-peak times. Everybody wants to operate at the same time, it seems. Yeah, those are normal things. Whenever there's a station that's open and nobody's covered it, just check with the band plant. What else is on there that I didn't? Yep, and don't forget GOTA. A lot of people want to be part of the big stage, but people that really have less than a year on there, we want to try and get them active on GOTA and staying on GOTA if we can. They're going to be able to do a lot. No fires, right? It is a fire zone. I think everybody in this room and probably on Zoom are keenly aware of fires, but it's just a real strong reminder, no fires. And quiet hours are between 10 and 7, so enjoy yourself a little bit, but it should be quiet at 10 o'clock. Does not apply to operating radios. They're the only ones allowed to make noise. Everybody else better be quiet. Well, some of us are trying to sleep. We'll go to bed early, get up in the middle of the night, and operate. So we want to be respectful of that. On occasion in the past, we've had some enthusiastic campers, and we want to avoid people staying up all night. No devices connected to the house generator, and no generators in the campground. So if you have a medical device or something that you want to do, bring your own power. That is not a generator. So a battery. Most everybody has batteries of some kind. If you have trouble figuring out a battery for yourself, I know some people have PAPs and that sort of thing. Let us know, and we'll see. If you forget it or something, we'll see what we can do. And be mindful of just general interference. Occasionally somebody wants to get excited. They want to throw up their antenna on their 857 and make a few side contacts on their own. Well, that just interferes with the operating event that we are running. So you might have to go further away, go down the road a mile or so and operate there. Bring your own trash home if you can. At least bring some of the trash home. We'll have some big bins. We're going to just have to hand them out. If you can grab one of the bags of trash when it's time to leave, please do. There's going to be plenty of trash to go around, so you won't be left out. Leave the campground in better shape than found. It's in great shape right now. We're going to go ahead and do a good cleanup. And again, I'll say it 100 times, the runway is active. I know for my brother is planning on flying in on a Saturday. This is a busy time of year. There will be quite a bit of air traffic coming through. So I expect to, I don't want to see any accidents. What to bring? A chair, sunscreen, a hat, no doubt about it, mosquito repellent. There are mosquitoes in the area. Hopefully it's dry enough you won't have it too much, but you better to have it. Lunch, lunch for a little bit. You need to bring lunch. Bring some snacks for the share table also. That's actually where most people hang out, is around the share table, it seems. The food is always popular. And then, of course, camping is available. And, of course, bring a great attitude. It's a lot of fun. This is a great event, best event of the year, and we want to see everybody have a good time. Do we have any questions?
Actually, just a few comments. In fact, we've gotten a couple emails. First and foremost, Field Day Resource Center on our website is completely up to date. It has all this information, as well as it will have this presentation if you want to review it on your own. A couple things that we've gotten through there. Folks are asking about station signups. Last year, we made that electronic on the website so everybody could see what hardware we were running, what stations, and you're able to sign up on the site, see who signed up on what station and when and all of that. We plan to do that again. Jeff and I will be launching that on the website really soon. And regarding camping, just an update. Some folks bring a pickup truck and they sleep in the bed of their truck. Others bring a tent. Some sleep in their car. And some people bring 40-foot RVs. But the point is, you can bring anything you like. All types of camping equipment is welcome. Again, it just depends on which side of the runway you'll set up on, depending on how big your equipment is. But we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to you being there. Please RSVP if you have not yet as well. Sorry to keep harping on that. And last but not least, regarding the signups, I will have a QST out as well as an update and a banner on the website to let you know when we're going to start taking those signups for different shifts and different stations. Back to you.
All right, Brian?
We put on some awesome breakfasts. Pancakes, eggs, sausages, but we need to know how much to make. So please, very important if you're coming up there to camp or if you're just coming up for the day, start your day early. Come on up for breakfast and then stay for the entire day. Or maybe, the barbecue. We need to know how much to purchase, and it's really helpful. Don't wait till last minute because we're starting to buy the dry products right now. we have a blast up there, and we love making the breakfast, and we're going to be shopping, and we're looking forward to that.
Pancakes, eggs, and sausage are on the menu. By the way, we do have a really cool T-shirt design. Mark, would you come on up for a second? We're going to model the T-shirt. All right, Dudley's got one. So on the website, there's a new swag page, and for Field Day this year, this is the winning design. Very cool design to reflect the history of that airport. So this is going to be good. But yeah, thank you for that. So there's still time to order your T-shirts. They've been coming in about a week and change, so you don't have a lot of time to get one, but you'll get it. They're a good site to do that. And then there's all kinds of other new swag on that website as well. Some of it Field Day related. This is a new update to the website. It's a lot of fun. Go check it out. Smitty's put in quite a bit of time on it, but we're learning a bit about that as well as we go along. And did you have a comment, Smitty, before we go on? Got it. And I do want to have Scott here, KM6 RFB. You come on up for a second. We'll just go over the safety plan real quick.
I'm Scott, KM6 RFB. I'll be your safety officer for this operational period, which will be from Friday through Sunday. And so some basic stuff. Jeff's kind of covered a lot of the information, but realistically, the whole goal is to provide a real good experience for both us, the club members, and all of our guests that show up. That's the goal, is to maintain a nice, safe environment for everybody that's going to be there and show them what we can do out there. Fatigue management is really important, along with dehydration. It may be hot, so make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids. Water is probably the best. There will be a first aid station, which I'll be staffing along with Aries. If for some reason you start to get a few quarts low, I'll have some liquid IV and some hydration drinks there to kind of help put a couple more quarts back into the tank to get you back upright and spinning. So that's really important. And it's really important that we watch each other out there. If someone starts to look like they're having issues, pull them out. Let's get them taken care of before it becomes a real true medical emergency. We do not want to have to invite the boo-boo box up to haul somebody off. So be careful with that. And again, like I said, Aries will be there. We'll have the first aid station. I can handle pretty much, along with an AED, I can handle some pretty much basic stuff. But that's all I really want to do. I'm really good at handing out Band-Aids and lollipops. So we're good there. I will also have, because of last time, the person shall remain nameless, in case you decide you want to play with the bees or other things that sting or bite, or go play in the poison oak, I will have at my table some poison oak stuff and some sunscreen stuff, some Cal Gel that's really good for bites and sunscreen and for poison oak. And then I'll have little packets of sunscreen. If you forgot yours, it will be at the table. Just come and get whatever you need. So that's good. Jeff talked about the generator safety. Really not going to harp on it too much, but there will be a fire extinguisher, I hope, at the generator. Hey, if something happens, use it. You guys remember that lovely little acronym? Begins with a P, ends with an S, called PASS, pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Yeah, there'll be a fire extinguisher at the generator, and then in the cooking area, we want to make sure in our cooking area we kind of keep it cleaned up in case something gets knocked over and something catches on fire. So that's really important. And also talking about the food, sanitation, food safety is critically important. I believe we'll have some hand sanitizer out there, so make sure we're washing our hands and use the utensils to pick up food. That way, we don't put our hands in everybody else's food and create issues out there. And again, just general good site safety, tripping hazards, cords, things that are hoisted up to hold things. If we can mark off stuff with flagging so people don't snare themselves on some cord somewhere, that would be great. Also, since it will be nighttime operations, there's a huge potential for tripping hazards and fall hazards during the night. So if you've got a headlamp, please bring it. If your headlamp happens to have a red light on it, that's actually the best because it won't destroy night vision with other people. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes for your night vision to recover with a bright white light. Red lights are really good for not destroying that night vision. And then, of course, fire safety out there. Be mindful, we are in the throes of fire season, whether you believe it or not. For any reason that we do have to leave the area, we will do it in an orderly fashion. We will refer to the event or the incident commander to kind of orchestrate that movement of people out of there. In the event there is an emergency, we don't need everybody there in case something happens to somebody. Jeff or somebody of the senior leadership will send somebody down to the gate to guide EMS and fire into the area, and that will be broadcasted to fire when we make the 911 call, that someone will meet them at the gate and direct them in. So keep that in mind. Usually it'll be a fire engine and an ambulance. The ambulance may not be directly behind them, so don't leave the post until the ambulance shows up. So just keep these things in mind while we're there. And again, the whole idea is to have fun and provide that wonderful experience to everybody that shows up, to show them what we can do and who we are.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
Rattlesnakes question mark?
We do have to be careful about the rattlesnakes. It's not really obvious where they might be, but there's a wood pile that's there, and last year in that wood pile, we chased one out. So in that area, there could be. There's one small little wood pile.
Hey, Jeff, glad you mentioned that. I forgot to talk about wildlife safety. Good thing for bringing that up. Hey, guess what? There's rattlesnakes up there. And by the way, if you leave your shoes outside your tent at night, I highly recommend that you not cram your foot in there immediately the first thing in the morning, because some things like to take up residency, like spiders, small snakes, crawly things. Also, if you're sleeping on the ground in a tent, close your tent all the way, because you don't want to share your tent with a rattlesnake. Does not go well.
Yeah, the nature of a rattlesnake is to find a spot and stay there when there's a lot of activity.
Right.
So they'll likely not be there, but be aware that they could be.
And with the trash situation, it will bring wildlife in potentially, so we need to make sure we're picking up our trash, closing up trash bags, things like that. We don't need to encourage the animals in. Brian's right. There would be so much activity there. They're going to want to stay away, but the lure of food and water can be overpowering to animals sometimes. And for Brian, exactly. So we want to make sure we clean up after ourselves and make sure that spiders are really important up there. Black widows, things like that. So make sure you're shaking out your shoes and things like that.
All right, Scott, thank you. Yeah, and I did want to mention one more thing. We do have clean running water on the restrooms. There are showers. They are nice, crisp, cold showers. I do recommend you take one. All right, any other comments or questions? All right,